Hey everyone, so my name is Nathaniel, and today we will be working on a vocal workshop. Now, the topic for this workshop is Ultimate Vocal Strategy with Nathaniel. Let's get started. So, what do you mean by vocal? The word vocal. Vocal is basically your voice box, or it is also called as your vocal cords. Now, your vocal cords are basically the voice box which allows you to speak, to sing, or to do anything related to speech and anything related to words and speech. Okay, so we are going to work on a few topics today, a very distinctive topics that's going to be helpful for you in your future career in music. So I'll be taking an ultimate vocal strategy scheme here. I'm going to be putting out a few topics here for you to understand what and how you could implement this in your everyday vocals or your everyday singing life. Okay, so to start off with, I am going to teach you a very simple exercise or a very simple range extension exercise. Now, this exercise is called as lip drills. Okay, it's called as lip drills. Now, this exercise is widely used in various places and in various commodities in the music industry to increase your range. Now, before we understand how this exercise works, I'm going to tell you what range means. Now, range is basically your higher to your lower. Okay, your highest note that you can sing to your lowest note that you can sing on a piano or on an octave or on a note scale. The notes that lie between the highest and the lowest are called as your range. Okay, so let's begin with what do you mean by lip drills. Now, this exercise should be done on an everyday basis, at least for about 20 minutes to improve your entire vocal skill or your entire vocal technique. So, to start off with, this is how it goes. I am just going to give you a gist of it. Okay, I'm going to start from my lowest and end in my highest note with a lip drill. Okay, so we wet our lips for this exercise. Okay, and we relax our face muscles. Okay, we just relax the face muscles and we begin. So we basically vibrate our upper and lower lips together. So it's okay. So we are gonna do that from our lowest to our highest note. So let's begin. Okay, so I'm just gonna begin with a very simple demonstration of this. All right, so let me start with okay. So you would have to do this every day, at least for like 20 minutes, for you to understand what it is, okay, and how it could help you. All right, so now we're going to do the same exercise on tunes. We're going to have a few scales that we're going to use, and we're going to do it on a few tunes. All right, so to start off with the first tune. All right, so and we're going to go from one scale to another. We're going to do scales on this. So that's the next scale. ah, 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 okay. So this is the lip drill that you basically do every day for you to get your range going. Okay. So this is the first exercise. Now we have a list of exercises that usually have a range extension, need, or it has a range extension kind of use. Okay, so lip drills is one. Now the next one is the same tune, but we're going to add la to it. Okay, so it's la. Now remember, when you sing, you always keep 2 finger space between your mouth. Okay, so you always have 2 finger space, so it's gonna be like, it's not la, it's la. All right, so it'll be la 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 la. Okay, so we're gonna do that exercise now on scales. Okay, and this time you are going to join with me and do it because it's a very simple exercise. All right, so let's try. 1, 2, 3, go. La 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 la. Ah, 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 la 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 la. Okay, and then you come back down the scale from the top, the highest note to your lowest note. So we go like ah, la 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 la. 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 Okay, so this is the second exercise. So we started with lip drills and now it's the Lala exercise. So those are the first 2 range exercises. Okay, so the next exercise or the next strategy that we're going to move on is to the pronunciations. Now we have in every language a set of vowels and a set of consonants, right? So vowels in English, okay, is what we use for Western vocals, of course. The speech would be A, E, I, O, U in English. Now, when we speak about it vocally, it would be A, E, I, O. So what we are trying to do here is basically round our mouth to an O. okay? And we are trying to say every vowel, okay, to an O. So it will be A, E, I, O, U. So we are bringing every vowel together to form a O. Okay, so this is how it works. A, O. Now, why do we say A, O? Okay, so that is, firstly, you have list of vowels that you use, everywhere. Every word has a vowel when you sing, okay, or even two or more than two vowels, okay. So for example, if I am singing way, okay, W-A-Y. Now we have a combination of two vowels here. Now getting back to that point, we are going to learn a term known as diphthong. Diphthongs, diphthong. All right. So what do you mean by diphthong? When two or more vowel pronunciations exist together in combination in a word, we call it as a diphthong. All right, let me repeat myself. When two or more vowels combine together to form a diphthong, that's basically two or more vowels combined together in a combination in a word, form a diphthong. So for example, two or more vowel pronunciations you have to remember. Okay, so for example, way. Okay, now the right way, the right method to say way would be way. Right? Why? We have three common diphthongs. It's the AI diphthong. That's the A diphthong. Okay, you have the OU diphthong. That's the O diphthong, and you have the I diphthong. It's the I diphthong. Okay, what is it? AE. Okay, you have the AIE diphthong. You have the OU diphthong, and you have the I diphthong. There are three basic common diphthongs. Okay, so A, I, O. So you're basically rounding your words. So you have A, I, O. All right. So you have A, I, and O diphthong. So way, the pronunciation has two vowels in the end. So it's way. Is that A diphthong? Correct. So you say way. You don't say way. You don't say way. That's wrong. It's way. All right. Even for, say, there are a lot of words that you can use. Okay, so you have a list of diphthong words that you can use. For example, let me take a simple sentence. Okay, let me take a simple sentence from a word. I want it, sorry, from a song. I want it that way. Okay, this is also an exercise that I usually teach. So it's I want it that way. All right, so it would be I itself would be pronounced as I, because the I diphthong, right? You don't say I, it's I want it that way, right? So you have two diphthongs here. There could be sub categories under this in this sentence, but the most common diphthongs here, the two ones are I and the last one way. All right, so you have I sorry, I want it that way. Okay, so we're gonna work on scales in the same exercise now. All right, let's try. So 1, 2, 3, go. I want it that way. 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 All 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 I want it that way. Oh, I want it that way. Oh, I want it that way. We're coming back down the scale, okay? 1, 2, 3, go. I want it that way. Oh, 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 I want it that way. Okay, so you have these amount of skills that you need to do usually to understand a diphthong. So this is a diphthong exercise that you can use, okay, on an everyday basis when you want to learn, when you want to practice. So every song, every line has diphthong combinations. So you need to make sure that when you find a song, you have to pick the right word and see if the pronunciation is like a diphthong. So a diphthong will have two vowel pronunciations together. So when they have two vowel pronunciations together, you use the technique there. It's going to be either commonly it would be an A, I, or an OU diphthong. All right, so that is about diphthongs. Now we're going to go to the next topic, which is called as octaves. What do you understand by octaves? In piano, in keyboard, you have octaves, which is basically a C to C. You call it as an octave. And you have another octave, which is a C to C again, or any key for that matter. You have C, D, E, F, A, G, and B, right? So you can basically any key, you can start with any key for that matter. Take from C to C, or the next one would be D to D, E to E, F to F, G to G, A to A, or B to B. Anything you take is an octave. Okay, so octaves are basically, there are so many. You have pianos with 8 octaves and so many more octaves, usually. Okay, but the usual one that everyone uses is a 4-octave piano or a keyboard. Pianos usually have more octaves, but a keyboard usually people use every day for everyday learning purposes at home, and whenever they buy a keyboard, usually is a 4-octave keyboard. All right, so that is about octaves. Now we do an exercise called as a range finding. Now range finding is basically when you find your lowest, your highest note. Now this in this exercise, we say, for example, when I find range for my students and give them their voice type, that is, your voice type would be your either soprano or an alto or a tenor or a bass. So when I give them voice types, I usually do an exercise called as range finding. Now the range finding is basically octaves. Okay, I make them sing from their lowest note. I find their lowest note, and then I go higher and higher and higher to the highest note they can sing. So a few people sing 3 octaves, a few people 2 octaves, a few sing 4 octaves. Okay, So there are different variations. So which is why we have octaves, and we usually find their range on octaves. For example, a range of a person is C2 to say A4. Okay, C2 to A4. Now it's going from C of the second octave to A of the fourth octave, right? So you have that range. So between that range is what the person can sing. Now we do range extension exercises to make sure to increase the range from below that to higher. That is below C2 to higher A4, more than A4, the notes higher than A4 and the notes lower than C2, which is why we do range extension exercises. Now that helps you not only in the higher range, but it also helps you in the lower range. It helps you to figure out both the ranges. Okay, so that is basically an octave kind of a perspective, just a gist of it. Okay, so now we have another topic which is most widely important, and it's actually a vital topic, which is the breathing technique. Okay, so now we have various techniques that all teachers use across. We have different kinds of exercises, different techniques, but let me just give you a gist of how you breathe in and breathe out when you sing, and how you can sustain your note longer. Okay, so we are going to include sustaining skills here. We're going to sustain. Let me just tell you what sustaining is first. So sustaining is basically when you prolong, hold the note longer. How long you hold, that time period of how long you hold a note is called as a sustain. Okay, the time period of how long you hold a note is called as a sustain. So I say I am going to hold a note from, say, I take a breath. Okay, so I'm just giving you a gist of how. So that time period of how long I held the note is called a sustain. Okay, so we are going to learn how we're going to sustain our breath. And the main reason why we learn breathing is to sustain notes, and to not first to sustain notes, second for you not to crack in between, for you to hold the notes. Okay, and third is for you to feel free and to feel comfortable when you sing the entire song. Finish the entire song without any hassle or without any, let's say, difficulty. Okay, so firstly, the first way, or let me just give you the basic of how you breathe in and breathe out while you sing. So you have a muscle, of course, you all know that by now. You have a diaphragm, which helps you to expand and contract while you sing. Okay, so you take in air from your nostrils. Okay, so breathe in and breathe out. When you breathe out from your mouth with the, okay, so it'll be breathe in and breathe out. And when I breathe out, I make sure I exhale all the air that's inside my entire thoracic region. So you call your entire abdominal and the chest, almost the chest, complete chest region, you call that entire as region as your thoracic. It's called as thoracic. So your thoracic is basically involved in your breathing. When you sing or when you speak, usually when you sing, you include your thoracic. Okay, because you sing from your stomach, right? You sing from your stomach, and when you do that, you're taking air to your entire thoracic. All right, so I'm going to teach you how I take an air, okay, and it's going to sustain, and how I'm going to sustain that note, just the air, okay, I'm going to sustain. I'm going to hold it in for a few counts and then sustain it. So I'm going to breathe in. Okay, now remember one more thing. Your shoulders do not move when you breathe in. It's a wrong way to breathe in if your shoulders move. So you basically breathe in without your shoulders moving. Your shoulders are relaxed. You sit up straight, or you're standing and you stand straight or sit up straight, and your foot on the ground, foot basically on the ground. Okay, and if you're standing or doing anything, V-shaped, your posture is important. Okay, V-shaped legs, one foot apart, foot on the ground. All right, sit up straight, chin up. Yeah, and you basically relax this portion. So you're breathing in, breathing out. Okay, so I'm going to breathe in, hold for a few seconds, and breathe out. All right, let's see how this works. Breathe in, and breathe out slowly. Okay, so you basically inhale and exhale. So you hold for 30. I held for 30 seconds, and you exhale also. So let's keep it, I'm going to hold for 20 seconds and I'm going to exhale for 15 seconds. So let's see how it works. Okay, breathe in, hold, breathe out 15. Okay, so that's how you breathe in. Now you can increase these exercises, okay, depending on how you feel and how your progress is every day. So when you keep doing this, you basically increase your range, your capacity to sustain, your capacity to sing longer, your capacity to sing without becoming breathless, without losing out of breath when you sing, and without cracking. And all of this basically works on this technique. So always remember, when you go, before you sing, breathe in, hold for a few seconds, release for a few seconds, and then try again. So try holding for longer and releasing for just a few seconds lower than the hold. Okay, but you should try increasing your seconds, the amount of seconds every time you try an exercise. All right, clear? So this is just a few vocal hacks. Okay, this is just a few vocal hacks that I just wanted to share with y'all. Okay, so we covered lip trills, we covered the Lala exercise, we covered octaves, we covered breathing, and we also covered a few other topics, right? So we need to focus on these. This is just a very few techniques that you can use, and I'm sure that when you do this every day, spend 30 to not even 30, 25, 20, 25 minutes in just doing these exercises. And what happens is you increase your skill, you improve your technique, you improve your range, you improve your skill of singing. All right, so make sure you focus on this, focus on the lip trills, focus on the Lala exercises, the diphthongs, the vowel combinations. You also focus on your octaves, you focus on range finding, you focus on breathing. All right, I hope this workshop has been, it's a pretty small workshop, and I hope it has been helpful for you. And you can contact me on Instagram, and I think the Instagram ID is mentioned below. You can contact me there and follow for more updates on vocals and vocal techniques. Take care. Bye.